okay. But we go through life, and many times the enemy, he has a flood. And your world comes crashing down around you. And it's tough to find your smile because it's underwater. It's tough to find your smile because somebody tried to steal it from you. It's tough to find your smile. It's tough to find your joy because your life has been flooded and you don't see any hope. I got great news for you. God still is in charge. Amen. God is still in charge. Let me see. Haley, are you still back there, honey? Yep. Hit that next space bar, would you, for me? Is it moving? Where's my phone at, brother? What did I do with my phone? Anybody? Oh, there it is. If all else fails. Technology at its best.
There you go.
Hey, there we go. Thank you. I don't know what's up with this thing up here, so Haley, stay with me, honey. All right? How many of you ever experienced bad times?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody? All of us. We all have experienced bad times. Brother of Jesus says this in the book of James. It says, consider it pure joy. Well, I tell you what, that's easier said than done.
That's right.
Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you are involved in various trials, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. But you must let endurance have its full effect, so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. Now, if any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives it to everyone generously without rebuke, and it will be given to him. We all will face bad times. A lot of folks think, if I turn my life over to Christ, will all things that were bad turn good? When I turn my life over to Christ, will the DTE bill not come anymore? When I turn my life over to Christ, maybe the consumer's bill won't come anymore. When I turn my life over to Christ and I bought a new house, the sewer will never back up. Bad times are going to come. A lot of people want a newsflash, and here's a newsflash for you, friends. Bad times will come, but consider it a pure joy, the word says, because when you are involved in various trials, you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. What does that mean? We're in it for the long haul. You know what? We're not in a sprint. We're in a marathon. We're in a marathon. We're in it for the long haul. It's sometimes dangerous to stand up here with couples and say, do you promise? Do you promise? And then all of a sudden, in a year and a half, they're not a couple anymore. You know why? They were in it for the sprint, not for the long haul. You know, a lot of folks, and I'm just going to digress for just a moment here, a lot of folks says, well, you know, marriage is 50-50. No, it isn't. Marriage is 100-100. Each one given. Anyway, that's another story, another time, another sermon. But bad times will come. But you can smile. I tell you what, the true test in the middle of a man or woman, born-again believer, is when they're facing bad times and they can still smile. They can still smile. We may be crushed inside. And I'm not saying put on a happy face, you know, and fake people out. I'm saying put on a genuine smile, because if we have the love of Jesus in us, regardless of what bad times come, we know that in this world it is only temporary. Hit that next one, huh? Romans chapter 5 verses 3 and 4 says this, more than that, we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering, what? That word suffering. Suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope.
Amen.
And I like this from Solomon. He writes in Ecclesiastes 7:14, on a good day, enjoy yourself. On a bad day, examine your conscience. God arranges for both kinds of days so that we won't take anything for granted. You see, it's easy to be on the top of the world. It's easy to say, hey, I'm happy. It's a beautiful day. It's sunny and 85. Everything is right. And I'm so happy. I'm joyous. I'm jumping up and down. I'm going to break the furniture. But I tell you there, the tough time comes is when the bad days come to be able to get on the furniture. In spite of the bad days, I still am victorious in Jesus Christ. Amen. And that means we won't take the good times for granted. Right? Take advantage of the good times. Enjoy the good times, because when the bad times come, you can always reflect on those good times. You know, as I get older, I get this, this hurts. This hurts. And I tell you, when I get down to pray, I could pop right up as a kid. I need kind of like somebody to stand next to me and help me back up. You know what that's saying? I'm getting older. That's not a newsflash, by the way. But you know, we need to do everything that we possibly can do when the good times are there. Because there's going to be times to come that we're not going to be what we used to be. But then we can reflect upon the times that we were able to, and be able to look back with wonderful enjoyment to say, you know what, we had those good times. Hit that next one for me. So in bad times, then we talk about peace. We find the book of John, chapter 16, verse number 33 says this, I have told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world. Amen? He has overcome the world. How many of you lay awake at night worrying that you can't get to sleep because the enemy just keeps rewinding and playing over and over the troubles that you're struggling with in your life? You go to the mailbox. You hate to see the mail later, the mail guy show up, because you never know what's going to be in there. You go in and you pop your hand in there and begin to, no, and suddenly the peace that you once had is robbed, because we have forgotten that Jesus has overcome the world. Amen. He gives you peace. He gives you joy. You say, Pastor Buddy, in the midst of sorrow, in the midst of the flood, I can have peace? Absolutely. Absolutely. The peace doesn't come from your preacher. The peace doesn't come from your deacons or from this one or that one. The peace that you want comes from Jesus Christ, because He is the one who overcame the world. And He got peace. John goes on to say, I am leaving you with a gift. Peace of mind and heart. And the peace that I give is a gift the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. There's this little drug that's hit the streets in the last several years called heroin. It's a resurgence of a drug when I was a kid in the 70s that people were involved with. And what people are trying, and opiates. They have this little thing called opiate addictions now. And why are people seeking out these substitutes in their life to bring them joy and bring them peace? You know what all it does? It is like the Pink Floyd song, I have become comfortably numb. Because they don't understand about the peace that Jesus gives us. He gives us the true peace. He gives us the peace that we don't have to be troubled. We don't have to be afraid. Have you ever been afraid? All of us have. Have you ever been troubled? Certainly. All of us have. But I want to tell you something. You don't have to face those floods in your life anymore and not have peace. God will give you the peace. It comes from Him. You just have to lay claim on it. You know why? Because it says here, Jesus says, I have overcome the world. And so He tells you, you can have have peace because he has overcome the world. Let's get that next one up there, hon. So, be strong. Be strong. Where's Dino at? Where'd Dino go? Dino had a picture on him. His mom posted up on Facebook. He was holding a fish. And he had a t-shirt on. What did it say?
Weeks before dates.
What is that?
Weeks before dates.
What did he say?
Waits before dates.
Yeah, waits before dates. I'm sorry, brother, I'm deaf. All right? Waits before dates. And he's got that shirt because my son has encouraged him to eat chicken and rice every single day and become a bodybuilder. But how are you a strong individual physically? What do you have to do? Waits before dates, right? But how do we become strong in the might of Jesus Christ? Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Deuteronomy says this, the Lord himself goes before you. Who goes before us? The Lord. The Lord goes before us. He goes before us and he will be with you. And he will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. So, the flood that you're facing today, don't be discouraged. Don't be afraid because he is with you. He is with you. He knows what you're going through. He knows your heartbreak. He knows your discouragement. He knows your discomfort. He knows your brokenheartedness. He knows the times you cry yourself to sleep on your pillow at night. He knows. You know why? He is with you. So be strong. Amen. Psalm 121:7 says, the Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. He looks over at us. I told you about a friend of mine, Pastor Rex Evans. His wife several years ago was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she succumbed to that disease. And he wrote a beautiful eulogy about his wife. And he says, the disease that held my wife could hold her no longer. And God rescued her from that disease and healed her of that disease. A lot of people would say, well, she still died. Well, friend, to be absent from the body is to be present with God. And no longer can cancer reach into the portals of heaven and afflict those dear saints that are up there in our balcony. No longer does the enemy have a power over this flesh. No longer can the enemy disrupt us, dissuade us, discourage us. You know why? Because his power stops here. Because greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Amen?
Amen.
He's about to preach, isn't he? Be strong. Let's try that next one. Here's a tough one. A lot of people are living out in the world, living away from the Lord. They want to lay claim on this when things happen in their life. But I want to share something with you. It says this. All things work together for my good. Romans chapter 8. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and that are called according to his purpose. So, you say, Pastor Buddy, what does that mean? It simply means this. When you have the flood come in your life. When Lisa Graham Hart had a flood come in their town and wipe out everything, how can you say that's to my good? When my mom at 66 years old died an early death, how can that be for my good? When you get hit in a car crash and you're debilitated for the rest of your life, how can that be for my good? When the doctor gives you this diagnosis, how can it be for my good? When your child does something horrible to you, how can that be for my good? When this has happened or that has happened, how can that be for my good? God says this, and we know that God causes everything, good or bad, that falls in our life to work out for our good. You know what? We don't see it from time to time. is because we're like teenagers. We can only see this far in front of our face. This is as far as Christian believers can see, because we don't put on the mind of Christ. We don't look and see what God sees. We just see right here in front of us, and we, oh, it's me. Don't we? Friend, I want to tell you, everything's going to be all right. It'll be all right. As Reverend Kirk Franklin sang, smile, smile. And see, when people see that you're going through a flood and you're still smiling, they say, my lands, how do they do it? It's because Jesus Christ is the power. He is the might. And all things work out for my good. And you know what I try to do? I try to put on the mind of Christ so I can see beyond right here. We had the Memorial Day Parade in Waterford a couple weeks ago. And I give you the illustration several times over the years. And my friend, Pastor Keith Barr, gave me this illustration years ago, so it belongs to him, not me. And so we're in the parade, and I'm thinking of that illustration about God and how God sees things. Now, here is Jake. He's at the beginning of the parade, and we have Stuart at the, we have Jared at the other, and then we have Trudy, and then we have Darren, and then we have little D, and then we have the Garcias over here, and we see I can only see this much of the parade because it's just me and Jake. And then if I'm over there, all I see is that part of the parade. But God is the grand marshal of the parade. He's on the reviewing stand, and He sees the entire parade, beginning to end. And so when He says, peace, He knows what's ahead, and He knows where you've been. That's why He can tell us that all things are going to work out to my good. Let's try that next one. So are you looking for some shelter? Looking for some refuge? The psalmist says, you are my hiding place. When I was a kid, we played a little thing called hide and seek. Anybody else? Some people have been playing hide and seek with the Lord all these years. Wait until He comes back, ready or not. And when it was raining outside, you couldn't play hide and seek outside. And so, believe it or not, I was able to crawl in the clothes dryer. That was my hiding spot. And because kids are stupid and dumb and they don't have a carbon copy brain, they would never find me in the clothes dryer. That was my hiding place. But friends, I want to tell you, God is our refuge. And sometimes you just want to hide. Hide in the Lord. He is our hiding place. You will be protected by Him. You will protect me from trouble and surrounded me with songs of deliverance. He is our hiding space. He is our hiding place. So when you feel like not smiling anymore, know this. He is our refuge. Next one, please. The psalmist also goes on to say, the Lord is my refuge for the oppressed and the stronghold in times of trouble. How about this? The Lord is our refuge for the oppressed and stronghold in times of a flood. Times of trouble. Nahum says this, the Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble. He knows those who take refuge in Him. A lot of folks want to take refuge in a lot of things. My family was a bunch of alcoholics. They took refuge in the bottom of a bottle. There are a lot of folks who take refuge in a lot of different things. I want to tell you something. Take refuge in Him. When the floods of your life The waters are coming up and you're just up to here. Take refuge in God. He will take care of you. And once again, as we started our lesson today, what takes place after the floodwaters have seceded? We still stand. Because we stand on that firm foundation, Jesus Christ the righteous. Let's get that next one, huh? And He comforts. It's nice to have somebody to comfort us, right? Anybody? Anybody? I had a bicycle when I was a kid, a Stingray bicycle, and it got stolen 3 times and thrown into Terry Lake.
Aww.
The 3rd time I never seen it again, so I assume it was in Terry Lake. Pontiac police would drag Terry Lake every little bit. They'd drag out cars, bicycles, bodies. And I think they still do. And I go to, my bicycle's gone. Well, and of course, Mom, she wasn't very sympathetic after the first time. Did you put it away? No, I left it out on a sidewalk out there. I got no sympathy for you. But I want comfort. But God comforts, friends. Matthew chapter 5. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Do you have to have someone pass away in your life to mourn? Absolutely not. We mourn over a lot of things in our life. We mourn over the decisions that we made in our past. We mourn over what we should have been or could have been or should have done or would have done. We mourn over a lot of things in our life. But we find here the writer says, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Actually, that's the Sermon on the Mount. That's Jesus speaking. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse number 4. He comforts us whenever we suffer. That is why whenever other people suffer, we are able to comfort them by using the same comfort we have received. Ain't that good? Now, when we were a child and slipped and fell on a sidewalk, skinned our knee, wasn't it really cool to have one of our adult parents come up to us and scoop us up and kiss our boo-boo and tell us everything's going to be all right? Amen. When we fall, isn't it a wonderful thing to know we have a God who comforts us? When we struggle, isn't it a wonderful thing to know that God comforts us? When we have a flood of a lifetime come in our life and visit us, isn't it a wonderful thing to know we have a God who will comfort us? Put His big loving arms around us and tell us that sometimes we just want to hear Him say, everything is going to be okay.
Amen.
Let's get that next one. So, what should we do? Let's call on the Lord. Are you experiencing that flood this morning? Call on the Lord. Philippians says this, don't worry about anything. Boy, that's easier said than done, isn't it? The Apostle Paul writing to the church of Philippi, hey, don't worry. That's almost like, don't think about that roast that's cooking at home. Once I just said that, you guys are thinking about that roast cooking at home, right? Paul says, don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He has done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything that we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Jesus Christ. 1 Peter says, give all your worries and cares to God, for He cares for you. The psalmist goes on to say, and call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. Are you having trouble smiling today? Are you? Call upon Him. We'll have our musicians, if you would, come on up, musicians. God is there for us. You're facing a storm, you're facing a flood. God is ready and willing and able to help. Cast your care on Him, for He cares for you. Will He answer my prayer, Pastor Buddy? Absolutely. You know why? Because He loves His children. Just like you love your children. Take your care to Him. This altar ought to be full of folks. This message has been strong in my heart for a long time. Some folks in this room, saved on their way to heaven, and boy, I tell you what, they've been facing a flood. They've run out of answers. Call on the Lord today, would you? Find a place here at this altar. Just pour your heart out to Him, because He loves you. He's with you. Let's all stand. Every head bowed, every eye closed. Father, we love You. We thank You for Your word today. We thank You for being there for us. Father, I pray that You would have spoken to folks' hearts, folks that are going through a flood right now. Turmoil, rampaging waters in their life, and it doesn't seem it's ever going to stop. And they just can't find their smile anymore. Father, I pray that You would intercede in these folks' lives. They would find a place here at this altar and pour their heart out to You. And that they would come to trust You. And that they would know this day that You are with them. Bless this house, we pray. In Jesus' name. We invite you to come on the very first note. Every head bowed, every eye closed. Won't you come?